welcome to the Steve Davis Life Update. In this bulletin, podcasting worth listening to, comedy to tickle the funny bone, and walking is back in step. But first, our lead story tonight. It's 30 days since the launch of Talked About Marketing, Steve's new marketing consultancy. However, according to some sources, there's a risk the new consultancy might have been talked about for the wrong reasons. Adelaide theatre critic Samela says a promotional video for a recent episode of the Adelaide Show podcast, in which Steve was filmed in bed with Peter Gers, could have created nightmares for his fledgling brand.
Steve Davis and I were talking the other day on Peter Gers' Smart Arts radio show, where we're the in-house resident critics. We were talking about how we're never shocked anymore by things that happen in the theatre and the arts. And I didn't want to say at the time to Steve that I had been rather shocked by the promo for his Adelaide podcast interview with Gers, in which he depicted himself in his promos lying down in bed with Peter Gers. And I thought, this all for a young man who's setting out on a talked about marketing company, this could well be something people are going to talk about. I was not sure that that's very good to be quite that laid back, so to speak, or laid down. I'm deeply concerned.
Turning to comedy now, and Steve has become busy with many clients seeking his services for Talked About Marketing, and in the course of the last month, he had some comedy to perform at Cranker Comedy. It turns out the comedy on that particular night in April was crafted on the day of the event, something organiser Vosvotekas is hoping is not repeated when Steve returns on June 18.
He kind of coerced me into giving him another spot, and I feel obliged because he's very convincing, charismatic. So, he is on the bill. Who knows what he's going to do? Sometimes he's prepared, sometimes he's not prepared. I'm just hoping he gets laughs, which is obviously one of the priorities in stand-up comedy. So, could be anything. Could be weird costume. Just come along and have a look. June 18.
To podcasting now, and the Adelaide Show podcast continues to be published and promoted. The recent episode 281 was recorded live in the studios of WOW FM on the night of the Australian federal election. Meanwhile, Steve's about to front a brand new podcast for the NCVER, the National Centre for Vocational Education Research. He's also about to take over the reins of the School of Hard Knock Knocks comedy podcast, in which he interviews up-and-coming and established comedians. However, in July, Wendy has engaged Steve to run a podcasting information session with an anticipated audience of up to 120 people.
Well, a number of questions have been raised. Is this something that is going to help my business? Who would I even speak to in an interview? What focus or topics should I have? How much time, energy and effort is this going to take up? And whilst this might be an international, global, worldwide trend, is this something that will be over because it's a fad and then you'll need to be on to the next big thing?
And finally tonight, a look at sport, and Steve's daily 1,500 metre walk has taken the back streets for the last couple of weeks due to injury. However, according to Max Martin, exercise physiologist at Inform Health and Fitness Solutions, says he'll soon be back out on our streets again.
So Steve has been suffering from some sacroiliac joint pain, which has been putting a bit of a cloud on his capacity to do his walk. Luckily though, that's all fixed, so he's all clear to continue with his endeavours.
Well, it looks like faking an injury only gets you so far. That's it for this episode of Steve Davis's Life Update. There might be another one, depending on how well this one is received. Until then, you can keep up to date with Steve's marketing work through talkedaboutmarketing.com, his comedy through stevedavis.com.au, and get a coffee order in. The first week of June is the close-off for the next group bulk order, and that is baristador.com. Until then, in the words of Oscar Wilde, there's only one thing worse than being talked about, and that's not being talked about.